So welcome to part 2, ZSB restoration. All completed, all done, finished. Well, actually no, so this is the bike. Okay, first things first, let's see if we can sort out some of these problems with the frame. So first of all, I noticed that the front down tube's twisted, that needs to be sorted out. We've already pointed out that this swinging arm plate, the engine mount plate here on the side, is bent, that needs to be knocked back. And the other problem with the side stand being at the wrong angle, I can see what's happened here. You can see there's a great big crack here in the frame, and there's a big lump of horrible weld here. So I'm guessing what someone's done is either accidentally or intentionally they've bent this bracket up to make the stand lean further, and then they've just chucked a whole load of weld underneath the bottom of there. So what we're going to have to do, this is going to be quite nasty to repair, we'll have to cut out all this weld with the grinder, knock this back into position, then we'll have to re-weld all around here and re-weld back up here again. So first of all, I think we'll tackle this, we'll see if we can straighten this back up again, and we'll see how we get on from there. Okay, so I've straightened this out. All I did was I put a big clamp between here and here, squeezed it up. I had to get a couple of clamps to keep everything tight, squeezed it up. It's not ideal, still a bit of a bend in it, but now this parallels straight, so the foot peg will be straight, so I'm happy with that. Okay, and on this one I did exactly what I said. I cut this out here, and I've bent it straight, or bent it to a better angle, but it's actually split this a bit worse. So what I'm going to have to do now is cut this out here with a grinder, cut this crack out here, and then I'll weld all this back up right up here, weld it all back up again. For a little clean up of this weld here while we're at it. This is all straightened up. You see I've just barely any of it left now. Of the camera can focus on that. It just doesn't seem to be able to focus. Anyway, there you go. Okay, we've had a twist of this. Not too bothered about this down tube, but I've straightened up a little bit. That's it. I actually need to weld. I'm just going to run this this tap through the shock mount bolts, the swinging arm ones, and the frame shock bolts, because these are just prone to damage. I've seen people screwing these up, and it does cause a lot of problems when the threads are going on them, because they do need to be fairly tight. So I'll just do that now. Yeah, no, actually feels quite tight on there actually. That's not good, is it? So let's just wind that on. Wind it back a bit. Yeah, the thread feels a little bit iffy. I think it's okay now. Okay, so they're perfect now. I'm super happy with them. They're great. They should be okay. These threads here, these ones are for the seat, and these are really prone to damage as well, so I'm just going to check these ones as well. Okay, so we've done what we needed to do here. This is all straightened up as from before. Now I've tidied all this welding up a bit, which is pretty abysmal. This isn't my welding, by the way, this is the Chinese welding. So we've straightened this up, we've refaced this, we've got all this nice and straight, the foot peg's all straight, and we've re-welded on the bracket. So all good to go. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. So now we're just going to tidy up the frame a bit, clean it all up, and get it ready for painting. So we made a bit of progress with the frame as well today. I've had 2 coats of primer now, so I think I'm just going to let that all harden off, give it a recheck, and I think we're ready to put the black on. Super pleased with that. Okay, so they're perfect now. I'm super happy with them. They're great. They should be okay. These threads here, these ones are for the seat, and these are really prone to damage as well, so I'm just going to check these ones as well. Okay, so we've done what we needed to do here. This is all straightened up as from before. Now I've tidied all this welding up a bit, which is pretty abysmal. This isn't my welding, by the way, this is the Chinese welding. So we've straightened this up, we've refaced this, we've got all this nice and straight, the foot peg's all straight, and we've re-welded on the bracket. So all good to go. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. So now we're just going to tidy up the frame a bit, clean it all up, and get it ready for painting. Okay, so we've got to this point. I was struggling to get the flywheel off the magneto, the rotor, and it turns out that this is not the rear wheel spindle of ZSB, which would make perfect sense. This is a rear wheel spindle from a Ducati Panther. Who would have guessed? Hey, these Chinese, pretty crafty, eh? Fancy using that Ducati Panther. Okay, so we've just got the rotor off, flywheel off. That was pretty tight on that taper. What a lovely made taping. See, it's so beautifully made, this engine. That's super impressive. It continues to impress me. Little tiny needle roller there for the starter mechanism. And the starter clutch is built into the back of the rotor. It's a nice big, strong gear. Look at that. Nice big gear. I'm super impressed. You can see the seals there. Really nice. Machining's really good. Strength all around the crank here. Super impressed. Anyway, I'm off the point a bit. So to get the flywheel off, what I used was a wheel spindle off the Ducati, exactly the right size, and it is M16, and it's 1.5 pitch, which is a fine pitch. So it's not the wheel spindle. It's not the wheel spindle off the bike. That would be far too sensible. I think that's M14. Well, I didn't make it M14. That would have been really obvious, wouldn't it? It would have been really easy then. But now M16 times 1.5. So we made a bit of progress with the frame as well today. I've had 2 coats of primer now, so I think I'm just going to let that all harden off, give it a recheck, and I think we're ready to put the black on. Super pleased with that. Okay, so we've got a bit of black on the frame now. Pretty pleased with that. First coat of black. Decided to paint the whole frame. I'm going to paint the whole frame black. Okay, so we move on a few hours now. So I've split the cases now. Not too bad a job. There was bolts on both sides, which is always a little bit confusing. There's one bolt in from the other side. You can see that there. Mark that as reverse. Unfortunately, when I split the cases, the gear clusters came apart. That's a bit of a nightmare. I'll have to work out how all that goes back together again. That's a worry. But the good news is there's hardly any damage in here now. I've got the crank out. I can see the bearings, the mains are really nice and smooth. I just have a little play on the rod, and there's no play in the big end. It's nice and smooth, and there's no play in it. And I can't see any damage to the side of the rod. It looks a little bit grotty. I'll give it a clean up. The whole thing needs a clean up. Of course that pin is useless, that needs to be removed. As far as debris in it, I've got quite a few big bits out of it, but only one piston circlip. I don't know where the other one is. Everything seems fine in here. There's still quite a lot of bits in here. I've only just done this job, so okay, so it's just going to be a matter of bagging all this up now, labelling everything up, clearing the decks, and then cleaning everything up, and see what we look like after that.